Horizon Zero Dawn, the very beginning. So this is actually a little anachronism because I've already finished the game, but I hadn't streamed the beginning, so I'm just gonna start the beginning now and just pretend this is the first time I'm playing it. So let's see what we'll be doing. I hope it'll be showing the movie, the cinematic again, actually. Otherwise I might just, yeah. Oh no, it doesn't.
Aloy!
Okay, wait, let's stop this here and show the cinematic first. Because, that's how it should be, intro movie. Okay, let's start this properly.
What's that now? Don't like the cold? Can't stay in today. We have a ritual to perform, you and I. Here. Wear this. It belonged to my daughter. Good. Today, I speak your name, girl. But will the goddess speak it back? Normally, it would be the mother who declares, if you had one. The whole village would attend, and matriarchs perform the ritual. But we are outcasts. Even so, we keep the tribe's rituals. Otherwise, we might become like the faithless old ones, who turned their backs on the goddess. But their wickedness doomed them. To us, were left the splendors of creation, beasts of air, water, earth, and steel. It is one thing to hunt a beast, another to hunt a machine. You must be humble and respect their power. I will teach you this. One day. High Matriarch Tirsa. What is she doing here? Does she mean to forbid the ritual?
No, 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 off your knees. It's nearly time. And yes, you may speak to me.
You came to bless the naming,
Have not 6 months gone by since we entrusted her to you?
but we are outcasts.
You by choice, and she, well... I am a High Matriarch, Rost. I bless whom I choose.
Then You honor us.
Yes, yes, now go, and be ready to declare. Go! Oh, Mother, this child needs a name by which to know her, that your love may warm her life as the rising sun warms all the earth. Speak her name!
Aloy!
And so her name is blessed.
Stop this at once! What have you done?
I've blessed the naming of a child.
Stubborn woman, you call that curse a child? What did she tell you about his birth, outcast? Answer!
I've done only what you asked.
To raise it, yes. We said nothing of love.
Enough.
And you, blessing its name like it was one
I
of the
know
Nora,
my duty
one
to
of the
them.
tribe.
And to you.
Without consultation.
I'm here.
Did all year, did
And wherever you go,
deceitful woman,
I will follow.
Ooh, spooky. Well, not spooky, but like, gives me all the feels. Okay. So let's try this new game thing again. Again, we're doing hard care gaming here. That means I'm actually doing way more than I should by going for easy, not story mode. You know, because we love stories here. No. We can ignore the autosave because we did a manual save. Earth, the far future. Nature has reclaimed the ruins of our forgotten civilization, but humanity lives on in primitive tribes. In this new wilderness... too late. Unlock the shard salvage, a skill to break down resources and modifications into half their worth, and metal shards, clearing space in your inventory. That's a Frozen Wilds extension, by the way. You see that with the colorful icon in the hint. So that's interesting. In this wilderness, they fight for survival against the machines, fearsome mechanical creatures of unknown origin. Unlock the Expert Carver skill to increase your chance of finding high-rarity items from machines and animals. So, Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. There we are.
Aloy! Aloy!
Oh, that's a lot of berries. You're quite the gatherer, aren't you, little Bast? Now go and see if you can find some more, hmm? Well done, that's a good boy. Children, come with me. She's an outcast, to be shunned. There. Oh, come on. There.
warn me. Some kind of cave?
Okay, and this is how we start. Apologies to anyone not familiar with my streams. I'll be talking...
Rats.
You know how long I've been searching for rats? Never mind. Here's the thing. I'll be talking about game development a little bit. So not, I haven't been involved in any game development that anyone may know, but I'm a programmer and I like to analyze games and gameplays, stuff and mechanics. And I like this approach at starting the game, for one thing. We've had the movie and that kind of set up a mystery, the opening cinematic, and now we've had a tiny bit of story, just showing us, okay, this is still this Aloy, and she's been living outcast, and this is what it means to be outcast. It means, people won't even talk to you, and she is a nice kid, and kind of is longing to find a mother, which of course doesn't work out. And now they put you in here, and, you don't have any special abilities. Like, if you look at the menu, all you get is your mission tracker. Which, by the way, by default, I think would be visible. I've set it up so it hides it, because I think that makes for nicer streams if you don't have an overlay there constantly. So anyway, so they show you, they give you the opportunity to start the game and, familiarize yourself with the controls. I think there was a tutorial or something the first time I played this. But yeah, so it's a lovely way to drop you right into the game and let you do something, not just to tell you stuff, but to actually let you do things.
Can't climb, Al. Looks tight, but I can get through.
And this is, by the way, a clever trick, because both of these pathways that we could have taken here at the start go to the same place. So they give you the illusion of choice, but basically you have the same experience no matter where you go through. You'll be surprising the bats, you get that little possible jump scare, and you get up to this spot. So that's good, because it feels really nice, but especially in a tutorial, it's important that you can't really do anything wrong, because you're just trying, like, how do my controls work, and you're learning how to use this, and even if you know the buttons to press, every game has like its own idiosyncrasies, and it's just easier to you need to have a little bit of time. You don't generally want to immediately start with like full-on strategic combat, especially if you want your game to be accessible.
The metal world, one of the old places.
And so now again they give you a bit of story, like this like line we had in the beginning that just said, oh, they fight machines or something. You've seen that if you bought the game, it's on the box art, and it's kind of the unique sales proposition if you want to. And then if you go, so now you get an idea, okay, there are tribes, there are hunters and gatherers, we've seen that in the opening scene. So there's a lot of what could be boring exposition put into this beginning scene, which I really love. And you see, like, okay, this is a dilapidated area. There's really, all you can do here is explore. And she says, okay, the old ones, the metal world, so you kind of get an idea. Old ones, you know, is a very vague name, but you kind of get the idea. Okay, there were people before us, and it's a ruin of the metal world, so that kind of, and it looks, you know, like nothing happened, so you kind of get the idea. There were
Ma
people
said
before us.
never go in places like this. But I have to find a way out.
And again, this is also nice writing, you know, like okay, it's a taboo she's breaking here. And, you know, that's kind of gives us something about her personality. That, you know, she is pragmatic. She shouldn't be here, but really, what else can she do? So she'll just do what she can and then see. Oops. That's a game development thing here. You know, I've talked about this, or I guess I'll be talking about this again if you're watching this on the VODs, that collision detection and the actual graphics are separate, so like they're building the world twice if you wish. Once in simple shapes and sometimes rounded shapes, you know, so that, for example, if there's a way through, usually they'll have a little, you see that? Like, I would have walked against this wall, but it bumped me a little to the left. That's what they do, because, you know, like in real life, if you brush against something, you automatically correct yourself to the side. So you don't really, you know, you might bump your shoulder or something, it might hurt a little, but like in general, you keep correcting. And since computer controls are compared to like the control we've honed for like decades, how to control our body, you know, computer controls are primitive because, you know, like we are a decade behind or something in how to use a computer, and we don't do it as much throughout the day as we use our computer, as we use our body, because like as we use the computer, we're still practicing using our body. So of course, you know, there's no chance of us ever being less practiced at using our body than we are at using the computer. And so they kind of, like there is a bit of tolerance built in, like bumping the player to the side towards the opening. And not just, you know, like in a primitive game or in an early state of the game, all that would happen is, you see, you would just, like all I'm doing here is I'm walking and pressing forward. And you see, like here it is just nothing, but like as soon as I hit the edge a little, now it's not working, okay. Maybe, but it's like if you're a little tilted or something, she'll automatically kind of be nudged to the side. Because and that basically, usually what you do is you like round the corners of shapes like this. Sometimes there's even like special physics there that just say, okay, slide, if you bump forward against this, then slide sideways or something. But like games do these little tricks. You might have heard about this in the context of jump and run games, where, you know, like if you're on a platform, let's see if we can do this. No, we can't actually walk up here. Anyway, then we can walk up here. Like if you're on a platform and you run and then you jump, in a platformer game, what they will usually do is they'll give you a tolerance. So you can already have run off a bit, and if you then hit jump, they'll just pretend you hadn't already fallen and just let you jump anyway, you know, and pretend there was just like an inch of platform more ahead of you or something. Kind of like, you know, in Bugs Bunny. And so that's what many games do, and so since the collision, like the shapes against which you can run, are separate from the ones against, you know, like which you can against the ones that are drawn, you get moments like this where the top of the table is not actually solid. Or sometimes it's also just that the character, because keep in mind, like every time she moves her arms back and forth, and so these are handcrafted animations, and so they're not symmetric. So that means that if I walk forward and like she gets her arm stuck between two things, and then on walking backward, it doesn't, move backwards the same way it moved forward. Your arm might be stuck. So if like the entire shape precisely, like including arms and legs of Aloy, was used to detect the collision, she could get stuck in a way that you couldn't get out. And so that's why they usually just go, and also because it's easier and cheaper to calculate, instead of using Aloy's exact shape, they usually use like a, like a lozenge or something, like a sphere or a cylinder or something, like a simpler, or just a box, like a simpler shape that just has like her general statue. And so if you are standing or crouched, then that shape will be a little taller or shorter, but that's about it, And maybe if you turn, it might be a little wider than it is deep, to approximate, because Aloy, like the arms make her a little wider, than the torso. It's not like a spherical shape, like her head is the sphere, basically. So they might do something like this, but it's a very rough shape by which collisions are done, which is why, like here, she can't really walk up very precisely to this. There's always a little gap, because that's just, the shapes are a little rougher. And that's an improvement for you to play stuff. Some nice flowers in there. And also, you get to like explore and run around here and see how Aloy's world looks and operates, and how beautiful this game can be, actually. Like, it's also show off of the rendering engine. Like, there's water here, and you see the reflections of the water on the wall. You see all those stalagmites and stalactites. Get like a hint of something behind this. Don't know what it is. So it's like, it looks like someone planted flowers here around and painted this stalagmite in the middle, or whatever it is. Or is it a machine or something? It's not quite clear. But it looks like someone painted it a little. I hope it's not like a nuclear warhead or something. And there's, like these sunlight, rays of sunlight coming in to make it look even nicer. So like it has all this feel of at once a ruin and a cathedral and a, I don't know, military base or whatever, like it's like a combination of like it looks, if you look at the stairs and the gate doorways, it obviously seems to be quite an old and utilitarian building. On the other hand, the rest and the plants make it feel very, very cathedral-like and almost, like a house of worship. And also, it gives you a little bit of the wonder, like how would a child like Aloy discover and explore this? It's not, they're giving you the occasional moment where it's like, okay, you can be scared, like with these bats. But the music is kind of optimistic in a way. It's not really like she's scared, but she's also curious, I think. You get that impression just from how the game is done.
Up ahead.
She also, like, if you hear her voice, there's something up ahead. She kind of says it in a way that, you know, like she's thinking, she's curious, but there's nothing, you know, you see like there is a bit of uncertainty because of course she's trying to find a way out and she's a bit lost here, but it's not constant fear or something. Okay, there's a lot of light here, but I guess she can't get through here either. So it's a good combination of telling you, well, you know, this kid is a little bit in trouble, but she thinks she can get out of it if she just continues here. And they provide you backstory and atmosphere to boot. It's an amazing start for a game.
A dead person.
And that's also, you know, like, it's an obvious game design, you know, cheat. They put that hole in the ceiling so that the ray of light in this otherwise darkened room falls right on the object they want you to see. But that's, you know, needed for a tutorial. You don't really have, you know, you don't have any objective markers or anything like that. You don't have Batman's detective vision or whatever in this game at this point. And so you kind of wouldn't know, like, where to go or what she said, what's this about. And they, you know, like, the only other alternative would be to take, like, you know, to move your camera towards it, or to insert a little cutscene that, you know, like, zooms from your point of view, pulls in onto this object that she's seen, and that's very invasive. So the nicest way to do this is really to design the scenery so you're naturally attracted to whatever you're supposed to look at. And that's a bit of game language, to use light and just go like, okay, this has to be special, like a spotlight in a museum or something. And also here a nice trick is they don't want you to go back at this point. So they give you this little drop. And, you know, you won't be able to climb up again once you go down there. This is, I'm not quite sure how this is. I guess in this tutorial they just, you know, want to minimize the chance for confusion. And maybe it's also supposed to, you know, like, show you how dilapidated this structure is to just have this step in there. In, like, you often see this at boss battles, where it's like the boss battle itself is a closed arena, and there's a lot going on, so they want to be able to unload the entire world without having the risk of you running out again and, you know, forcing them to suddenly reload all this world outside the boss battle spot. And so what they often do is they give you like this drop or something so you can't get out, and then have a closed door somewhere that will open once the boss battle has finished. And at that point you'll be able to get back out. And so they restrict the area to a smaller area, and then they know you cannot get out, and that means they can unload everything around it and use the memory freed up and the processing time freed up for keeping this in place just in case you want to walk out, for added enemies and things, and thus make the boss fight more interested than regular encounters. This is always a trade-off in games, you know, like how much can you keep in memory without the machine slowing to a crawl, and how complex can enemies be. Okay, so let's jump down here. Boop. And, you know, you kind of, like, maybe you'll even try to get back and realize, okay, there is no way back. I'm not supposed to go back here. And you see this spot just here? If you get in here, it's kind of slightly, you can get stuck here behind two slightly raised items. And she's actually floating in midair, if you see that. So that's like one of the collision imprints. But this corner would be, you know, there might be more opportunities to get stuck here if it wasn't like this. And so here, by doing it in this coarse way, they kind of can use a grid and can ensure that every nook and cranny that you might get into is just large enough for you to get out again. And that there's no spot where if you end up in it some way, you cannot get out anymore. Which, you know, like, is like a slight math problem in a
There's something
computer.
shiny there.
And so now they, for the first time, introduce us to the game UI. You get, you know, like a mission objective changes to examine the strange object. You get this prompt, which button to push. So like they're slowly layering each part of the game on top, so you're slowly guided in. Of course, that is something that you know, you like if you already are an experienced console player or have played a couple of games, you can probably kind of you know, you already know this stuff and you can recognize it. But you know, never underestimate, you know, like your gaming platform doesn't have a future if you can't have new people, because you know the hard fact of the matter is people die. So if you just advertise to existing customers or to you know, just existing people, then obviously you know, they will become fewer and fewer over time until you have no customers left. So of course you need new people to come in, and that means you always have to create your game in a way that it can be someone's first game, even if it's, you know, part 2 of a series. It might just be that part 1 came out for a platform that doesn't exist anymore, and so some people have played it, but you still want to sell new copies. So, you know, to make a good game and to give a continued story to existing people, you need to draw in new ones. And also, of course, there are graphic design issues. Like every game has a slightly different design. So, like here, Horizon Zero Dawn has a bit of this, like almost hand-sketched, pencil-drawn appearance, or rather not like pencil, more like finger paint. You know, like the you know, like a tribe would do it. Like these logos are kind of slightly like the triangle button graphic. Usually it's a crisp circle with a triangle in it, and you see here it kind of has that slight 3D effect, but it's, you know, painted in a monochrome way and things like that. So it's just like the slight variations on how does this objective marker look. Okay, here it's a box with another box below inserted in its corners, so it's kind of just a little bit different. And this way you can, you know, like kind of get used to the idea. Okay, there are points, and what happens when I turn away? Oh, it points in the direction where the next point is. Okay. Okay, so let's do this.
Lights. Everywhere. How does he do this?
Okay, and now this is more obviously tutorial. It says toggle the focus by pressing R3, which is, you know, pushing down your right analog stick, which I kind of found it a little weird when I first started playing on PlayStation that they just call it R3. Why don't they just say... I guess it's, because they want to have the same phrase. Do this action by pressing this button. And then you can reconfigure stuff. But okay. About this cutscene, first, of course, great use of music, Also, it's totally natural that there would be curiosity like this, like you'd see this and it's glowing a little or whatever, and you see it attached to the temple of this, petrified body. So it's not as if like it's obvious to her how this jewelry is supposed to be worn. It's a little unusual, that she would say, "Oh God, it's a dead person," and then kind of touch it, I guess. But little children are more curious about this, so I could guess that she just, if she's curious enough, then she'll do this. She's, never seen a dead person like that before. Yeah, and also her shrinking back when it reacts and, makes a noise and she sees these lights. But then trying it again when she realizes she's still alive, that kind of thing. That's, how humanity found out, what food to eat and what not. There was just someone who was going, I'm hungry. Well, this looks like it might be edible, let's try it. And the people who didn't try the deadly foods survived. And the people who didn't, take any risks on food didn't survive because they starved. Or because they were malnourished or something. And so the people who had, like who knew, who recognized the smell or liked the smell of healthy foods and didn't like the smell of unhealthy foods, those were the ones that over time survived. And that's why, we don't die. And also, and why we have been trained today to, like, eat certain kinds of foods and like them, and not eat other kinds of foods that have certain tastes. And that's on a small level even. Like, I have friends who eat, who are way more picky about the food they eat, and you later realize that, yeah, when I think about it, this didn't taste very, like, this tasted a little weird, but I just went, okay, yeah, maybe it's a different spice or something, and then you find out, I used, like an expired spice or something on it. And so, like, you personally just go, that tastes a little weird, but okay. And, it didn't kill you, so it's fine. But that friend actually has been trained enough to actually recognize that this is not good, and will just say, no, I can't eat that. Because, they actually taste that it's spoiled. And you, like, maybe might have an upset stomach for a little while, but that's it. Okay, and of course, since this is a tutorial, they're kind of being a little urgent about you continuing, which is why this thing keeps popping up and clicking, telling you, do this, try to figure out how to do this. Also, what I like is, like, we've seen this entire place before. It seemed dead, it seemed petrified, and suddenly, as you wear this focus, all these lights show up, and okay, all these machines are on. And now that I've turned it off, you actually see that, like, as long as she's wearing it, she actually still sees some parts. So, like, turning on the focus gives her some extra perception. Like, you see that door, and that is much less highlighted as she plays. So you kind of get an idea. Okay, so she's special now, and she sees things that other people do not see. And she also has extra information when she uses this. And this is, as you might guess, why I said she doesn't have Batman's detective vision. Well, yet. Yeah, this is because I knew that she would get this focus. But so yeah, so we know now, oh, there are machines here, and apparently they're still working. And they were just, you know, like, we couldn't see them.
A metal door. Closed. Maybe this device I found can help.
Use the device to scan the room. So again, they remind us how to activate the focus. Bunker door, blast door, heavily shielded, seal integrity maintained. What's this?
It's connected to the door somehow. More lights.
Okay, power cable, reinforced platinum conductor. Code nexus, secure encryption port with holographic display. Data shows required settings for nearby hololocks. And rat. That's interesting. Okay, so we can actually see the rats through the walls. So now we can't really get there, so let's see if we can get around. And oh, okay, so the objective markers we get introduced to as well. So you see, like, they slowly layer on and on what we can do. First they just give us mission objectives, now they give us the focus and slightly more mission objectives, so there's no combat yet, they just give us you know, like, means to examine the world around us, because that's always the hardest part in a computer game. You know, like in real life you have decades of education being brought up by your parents or, you know, other caretakers, and being taught about, you know, the world, and learning, interacting with people, and learning lessons from the world that way. So there are many places where many occasions where you learn things. And so of course you don't have that in this world. Like, Aloy grew up and knows certain things, but you as a player don't know these things. And so either they can make Aloy tell you all those things slowly and make you memorize them, which seems kind of weird, or what they can do is they can give you a shorthand, like the focus, like mission objectives, that just essentially serve as a reminder of things things Aloy knows. Hololock. Electromagnetic security mechanism with standard holographic UI. Interface unavailable. Turn hololock counterclockwise and turn hololock clockwise. Okay. And we see the door here. That's also a nice touch. So we can manipulate this and see what effect it has. And then we see this machine code nexus. Data shows required settings for nearby hololocks. And so now we see, okay, there's this blue circle again with a red thing at the bottom. So they introduce you to a mechanic that we will use a couple of times in this game. Like, this is the most basic form of one of our puzzles. Nothing.
It changed color.
And now you see that the door also is no longer red. And so you know, okay, in the future, when I see a thing like this, this switch box-like thing that also, you know, like someone without, like there's this light on it, so if you remember, like this will just look like a piece of rock or metal or whatever to anyone else but you. Like it will look like this, you know. We just saw some glowing lights on it. So, but in the future, when we see a thing like this, we will know that might switch something nearby. And so, you know, it's just a basic tutorial, but it's a great way of, you know, letting you explore, giving you this tutorial information not as, you know, someone going, as you well know, when you push buttons on these machines, they unlock something. But rather just, you know, it's a little girl, so she doesn't know about this stuff yet and about a lot of stuff, but she's curious enough to walk around. So it's really nice and to try out things, and she has a reason, you know.
Changed color too.
She needs to get out. And so she's willing to try it because what else is she gonna do? You know, necessity is the mother of invention, as the saying goes. And so that's a really nice trick to start a game. Like, it's also a trope, probably, but it's a well done one.
It did it.
So now we see something here. What is that? There are things there, but we can't see them. Oh, what's this? Strider, hostile machine. So we see through the walls. We see a machine in the distance somewhere. That's also interesting. So there is something here, this green thing. I don't know what it is, but it looks different than what we've seen before. Interesting, but we can't get there. So either we'll get there some other time, or we might be able to return here someday. Oh, and there's something. What's this? And this is actually also, like, we have this reticle on the focus. And here this icon looks like our focus reticle. So we kind of go like, okay, maybe we should turn on our focus. It's definitely something weird. Oh, something happened. Press...
Director Evans, flash traffic from USRC. Black quartz encryption. I've routed the message to your hologrid for viewing.
Okay, it's not really very informative. All it tells us, okay, when we scan these things with our focus, we get, you know, audio messages. So, I don't know, we can't get over here, we can't, so I don't know. Nothing I can do. Like, I push other buttons, they don't do anything. So, yeah, we don't know. And also, like, this box on our compass at the top seems to indicate this thing. So I guess when we see this box, that means, okay, there's one of those things nearby. Good to know. So, like, they teach you all these things basically in a pretty natural way. You might not even, you know, like, phrase it out like that. But I love the design in this game, like the way they introduce you to everything here, because it's not really, like, I'm talking a lot here, of course, but it's not really a boring thing. Like, if you're usually walking through, you might go a little faster, or like me, you know, you might like to stop and admire the flowers, so you're interested, you're seeing new things. There's a lot of blocked off areas or something, and you go like, will I be able to go there one day?
What's that? It's got a device, like the one I found.
Okay, that's another body. And again, it has this symbol. So...
You think I want it this way? It's the best I can do. He's right behind you. Hi! Happy birthday, Isaac. Daddy sure does love his little big man. Look, Daddy can't be there with you and Mom, but we can still have a party, right? Sure we can.
Show me. Show me again.
Tekken 2. He's right behind you. Hi! Happy birthday, Isaac. Daddy sure does love his little big man. Look, Daddy can't be there with you and Mom, but we can still have a party, right? Sure we can.
Happy birthday, Isaac. Daddy sure does love his little big man.
And so, okay, we know like these focuses, these things were, you know, were, you know, were probably not uncommon. Like everybody we seem to find here seems to have one so far. And I mean, you know, given, you know, they let you interact with the machines, it kind of makes sense. We also get to hear a little bit about her, that she wants to see this again. Like, again, it's this whole Aloy wants a family, so we get more characterization of a main character, which is also important. So it's, they pack a lot into this thing, you know, like backstory and tutorial. And that's probably the best way to do your tutorial, is, well, maybe not the best way, because you can horribly screw that up as well. But like, it's a good way to get into a game, is to give you the backstory as part of a present day story, or at least a, you know, like a story in which you can interact, and at the same time slowly layer on stuff. So now we know that if we scan stuff with this device, like other focuses, we get whatever data is stored on those focuses, or if we scan some display or machine there, then we might get, you know, a message stored on that. So kind of, okay, we know now this is how we access the answering machine. So let's see what else we can do here. So we can't get through here. Seem to be a lot of rooms. Also, like, you see that there's not much branching here, which is important for a tutorial. Like, they show you there would have been branches, but they block them off somehow. That's intentional. That's in game design, you know. So you lead people through the game and to the points where they need to be for this tutorial. It has to be linear, because if you provide too many options at the start, they might not, you know, like they might reach an area without knowing how to actually use it. So of course you wouldn't want to do that. Because, you know, you're introducing, you have a very specific order in which you're introducing certain things. And so, like, you make sure that they have seen the explanation for something before they actively need to use it. I mean, it depends a little, like, what kind of game you are, because, for example, in a LucasArts game, that's kind of, like in a point-and-click adventure, that's kind of the main main objective, or in an adventure game like Myst, where the whole point is just walking around random places, finding a bunch of problems and a bunch of explanations, and then figuring out which one goes with which other one. So again, they've locked us in. They've shown us, okay, this area behind there is not really important to you anymore. Just keep moving on. It also, of course, gives Aloy a bit of, you know, an incentive to keep pushing forward, because now we can't go back. So it's a little bit of, you know, the author's hand.
Well, Happy New Year, dear diary. Can you believe we actually celebrated last night? Well, we did. Kind of. Director Evans invited everyone to gather in the community room. Don't know where she got the party hats. That was a ghoulish touch. So there we sit, watching the clock tick down to midnight, and I'm thinking, am I the only one who gets the symbolism of this? It might have been worth it if Skylar had gotten drunk again, but I seem to be a mistake she doesn't want to repeat.
Okay, so this is a rather weird message, if you think about it. You know, he says like, okay, so for some reason the people who lived here, and I mean, you know, they all seem to have died. So, and you know, nobody seems to have buried them or whatever. So I guess that means, you know, something went wrong, because otherwise, you know, if they had died of natural causes, someone would have just buried them. But there was nobody there after they died to take care of their bodies. So that's, you know, a sign that something went wrong. So he thinks, so he apparently knew there was a bad ending coming or something, or suspected it. We don't really know in detail. Because he says, you know, like, why would we celebrate the new year? And the clock was ticking down. How you know, like, was I the only one to catch the symbolism of this? So they were knowing their time was running out. But apparently some people still got together to celebrate. You see, like here again, dead bodies. Although, like, if you look at them, you see like they're they seem to have had time to decompose before they petrified. So it's not as if it was really sudden, I think. Although it seems a little weird that this arm is just standing up like that. I don't know, it seems like they might have... Yeah, I don't know, it seems kind of weird. I don't know if it was just that it's partly petrified and then moved a little bit. I don't know. Or if, you know, like, bodies contract when they, I don't know, mummify or something. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know enough about the science of dead bodies to be able to tell. So now, let's see what they have here for us.
I saw them lining up in the community room. Like cattle in a slaughterhouse, but smiling at each other. Shauna handing out meds, like being alive is some kind of pain to be eased. Well, not me. I don't want to go quiet. I don't want to trail off. I want a period at the end of my life sentence, not an ellipses. Hell, an exclamation mark. So if that upsets whoever finds this, too bad. I don't know anyone, anything, anymore.
Whoa. Okay. So apparently they, yeah, that reinforces it. Like, they knew something bad was coming, and apparently he talks about handing out meds as if life was something to be cured. So I guess, you know, like they took, I don't know, cyanide pills or something, you know, just chemically killed themselves. And on the other hand, he just apparently took a gun to his head. Which is, you know, like a dark start to this story. Like little girl exploring ruins and coming upon a place where everyone killed themselves. It's not, you know, like you feel like from the atmosphere, it's not meant to be a horror game. They would have done that differently. But it's definitely, you know, a A very sad moment. More dead people, more data points. Connor Chasson again. Okay, that's the one whose voice recording we found. Oops, now I missed it. So luckily I know the trick. Notebook. Data points. That's it.
Seriously? Record our thoughts for posterity? Great idea, Director Evans. Like I haven't done enough for posterity already. Like I wouldn't be here like this if not for posterity. I'm done with posterity. Posterity can go.
Convenient corruption. At the right point. Let me just, because makes it hopefully easier to find the next data point, let me make sure that is marked as well. Okay, now the exclamation marks are all gone. So there still seem to be a lot of dead bodies here. Oh, we're just about to finish. Ooh. I think I'll run a little long
Why
today.
did they die here? What happened to them?
In the distance, I see a machine. Another log.
Shall soon dissolve like snow. The sun forbear to shine, but God who called me here below will be forever mine.
The earth shall soon dissolve like snow. That's a weird song. Is that like a... I don't know if anyone recognizes that song. Is that a song that exists, or is it something that's written for this game?
And maybe that's all I need, you know? That moment the door opened and you were standing there wearing that retro wave dress and the way you smiled. I had to look away or you were gonna see on my face what had just blossomed inside me, you know? It was just an instant, but I knew. I knew we'd be forever.
So she remembers her love. So it's also like very human moments here. Okay, these people are all dying, and what are people thinking of? Some are going like, screw you. You know, are kind of protesting against fate. Okay.
And pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Death. Sorry. It's been a while. And well, these meds Johnny gave us are really something. So, okay, from the top, kids. Hail Mary, full of grace.
Okay, and some, you know, like, are desperate and you know, like, apparently have... You know, he says it's been a while, so I guess he wasn't a really religious person. Like, she who sang the song, that kind of sounded like, okay, you know, that might have been, you know, like a active religious person, and he kind of seems to be more lapsed, and then going like, okay, anything that will help or whatever. You know, like, you get like a really broad selection of people here. It's not like a cult that killed themselves because they thought, you know, it was their god's wish or something. it seems to be a pretty heterogeneous group. There's this one guy who, says, "Oh, that I had a fling with that girl when she got that woman when she got drunk," and the other woman talks about someone in a dress. So I'm assuming here that, that she's probably a lesbian, and so we kind of have many different people here, like with different backgrounds and things. So it doesn't look like there's a unifying element that much here. It's probably just a bunker or something where they, I don't know, set out their last days.
He found me. Ross found me. Down here. I'm coming. I'm coming.
He's good that he found her. And I guess we've seen all we can here.
I'm coming.
Oh, Mother be praised. Come, girl. Take my hand. You don't belong down there. Come. Such places are forbidden, Aloy.
I fell in.
They are of the metal world. What is that on your face?
Nothing.
Did you find it down there?
No.
Give it to me.
No.
Aloy, such things are dangerous.
No!
Well, if you're gonna go sneaking away from home, you'll need to know how to survive in the wild. Come, Aloy. Home now. But starting tomorrow, you will learn to hunt.
So this is a nice, important moment in her life.
All these shapes. What do they mean?
Take your bow.
Bow?
And enough muttering to that plaything. We descend to the valley now. Follow. The wilds can be dangerous, Aloy. You will need to stay close and do as I say.
I know.
Now, you're still scratched up from that fall you took yesterday. So let's start there. Take this medicine pouch. I'll show you how to fill it. See this plant over here? It's called salve brush. Come, gather its berries in your pouch.
This is nice that you say, like that they actually
Aloy, come
nicked
now.
nicked
Gather
your
the
health
berries.
bar a little bit. Start you out like that.
Good. Now eat the berries.
And now it says, okay, transfer health using the up button.
Blech.
They may taste bitter, but they can save your life. Always keep your pouch full of medicinal berries, flowers, and plants.
Where are we?
This valley is just a part of All Mother's embrace.
Embrace.
Gather some wood. Okay. This is also nice. Like, it's still, you know, a safe area. It's still pretty. You see, it's like warm and sunny.
The Nora tribe watches these lands and keeps out the most dangerous machines. Usually.
And you know, they give you like bits of story. There's another plant over there. Medicinal wild ember. Anything else around here? No. You know, like they give you little bits of story. And, you know, since you're a kid, it makes sense that he would explain all that to you. And also they kind of, you know, like, tease you that there will be danger soon.
Down the river, we'll find a herd of machines, and I will teach you how to hunt.
Are they dangerous?
All machines are dangerous, Aloy. Their power must be respected. But I will be beside you.
And so again, this is basically just, you know, like, yes, this is a tutorial. What he says.
Aloy, a machine's coming. Crouch and follow me into the tall grass. There. Now stay low.
Little one.
No, Aloy. Such machines are called Watchers. You must learn to avoid their gaze. If you are to survive in the wilds, I will show you. Listen close and do as I do. Stay still. Wait for it to pass. Now keep low and follow me across the trail to that tall grass.
I think I failed this, like, the first time I did this, like, 3 times or something. Because it's just, you know, like, follow me into the tall grass, you have to know...
Let it pass.
Like, he just went off and I was looking around somewhere and just, like, didn't spot
Come, back this way.
where he expected me to go, you know.
The quieter you'll be. And crouched walking is quieter than upright. Wait for it.
And I think I probably thought, you know, like I was done.
Let's move on. You did well. They didn't see or hear you. Now stay close. That herd should be just ahead.
You have no more medicine plants to collect.
Who's that?
Ignore him.
But why's he up there? He's smiling at us.
Teb! Get back where you belong! Teb! Where are you?
Ignore him. We are outcasts and he is of the tribe.
Maybe he doesn't like the tribe.
And he is a fool. Come now, let's find that herd. Follow.
I like these interactions, you know, it shows you like, okay, there's, you know, not everyone is rude towards you, that's good, that's also realistic. Is there another plant somewhere? Is there anything we can collect? Come on, I want to loot everything on the way here. Can I take that bunny rabbit home, Daddy? But you know, Rost seems
There.
kind of...
See them? These are called striders. Ha! Get!
Why'd you chase them off?
To show you how some machines startle easily if they detect you and run away. They're best approached by stealth. Don't worry. We'll catch up with them further down the valley. You'll see.
So I mean, this is now an obvious tutorial,
Now,
you know?
I want you to find some rocks that fit the cup of your hand.
Why?
Do as I say, Aloy, and gather the rocks. I will show you how to use them. Good. That's it. Those will do. Follow.
No, I want more rocks. More rocks. Okay, and now they want us to sprint. Oh, but wait, more health plants. Any more left? No.
Come now.
There's a bunch of rocks.
Aloy, over here. Stop wasting time.
That's also good, like, if you
Aloy, over here.
aren't that fast, they will remind you, you know, like, make you follow.
Aloy, come now. There's the herd. All right, it's time to throw some rocks.
But rocks can't hurt machines, right?
No, but they can distract them. Draw them into traps. Like that watcher over there. It must be dealt with, or it will warn the herd and send them running before we get in range.
Warn them. How?
The machines speak to each other, Aloy. Unless they are first silenced. Now you stay here on the ridge. On my signal, throw rocks and draw the watcher over to me. Wait for my signal.
This is kind of a big tutorial where they said in a documentary.
Aloy, throw a rock near me. There. Come, girl, it's safe now.
Okay, does it want me to go up there? Oh, I guess it wants me to go around here. Okay. Don't think I ever followed this path. I just went down directly. Yeah. I mean to say. Yeah, they said that basically, they went to all this effort to do this rock throwing tutorial, and then when they finally finished the game, they realized that most of the moments where the rock throwing would have been useful.
Harvest the kill so I can teach you how to make arrows.
You know, like
Harvest the kill, Aloy.
they actually,
Pay attention.
you didn't need the rocks that much.
Use the stalks as arrow shafts, and metal shards for arrowheads.
Okay, and this is also good, like, because I already collected the wood, they don't do the explanation anymore. They just say, hey, use the wood that you have, otherwise they would have told me. Using R, yeah, and press and hold. Quick craft hunter arrows.
Good. You'll never run out of arrows if you know how to craft what you need. Let's put those arrows to use. Follow.
It's also cute how they made a little arrow for her. I never really, a little bow.
Stay low in the grass and be quiet. It's time to make your first kill, Aloy. The Strider, one of the weaker machines, but even a weak machine can kill a hunter if she's careless. You must study your prey. Its hide is thick, but there are spots where it is vulnerable, like its eye. Can you guess another?
blaze canister. And I can tag, which is nice.
The canister on its back. Is that a weakness?
Yes. How did you guess that?
The device. It showed me.
But that plaything? Stop playing games. Now, take down that Strider. Target the eye or the canister. And if it charges, be ready to roll out of the way.
So that's practice as well. I don't think I did that too well either the first time I did this, but that's okay, you know, that's what a tutorial is for. You never play a new game well, because, you know, like, I had to figure out the controls, like, how do you aim
and make your kill. Again!
Of course, now I have practice, so since these are, you know, static and you know, kind of friendly animals,
You did well today, but you have much to learn. Tomorrow, we train again. What was that?
That boy. The one running the brave trails.
Follow Aloy, quick!
let me look around for a second. Okay, not much to see here, but nice.
I can do nothing. It's only a matter of time before the machines find that boy and kick him to death. But if I shoot, it'll cause a stampede, and it will trample him.
But I can see the paths they take.
Stop telling stories.
I'm not. I can sneak through.
You will not. Aloy!
Again, this is a nice bit of, you know, convenient storytelling and realism. Because, you know, like, why would he let her keep this machine if it's this focus, if it's a forbidden machine? Well, turns out, you know, he just goes and says, yeah, you know, I think it's just, you know, something she found that, you know, makes pretty lights or something, and the rest she's playing because, you know, he's never seen technology like that before. So it's not as if he, you know, like, had anything to compare it by, and so she's going like, yeah, you know, it's not unusual for kids to have made up friends and things, and she just made up this machine, and he goes like, ah, she's playing with this thing again. Okay, so let's tag all the machines. When a watcher is scanned, press R1 to tag its patrol path. Okay, so now we know where it will be going. Let's tag the rest.
I need to do this slowly and quietly.
Okay, so it's looking over there. So once it's past us, we can sneak by. This one, I think,
Can't let them see me.
I basically... This was actually good. Like, it's a nice tutorial because it tells you you cannot shoot all of them from the fact that, you know, Rost tried to hold you back and accidentally, you know, took away your bow. And also, of course, what I like, which, I mean, it's the sensible thing to do, but they, you know, like, drop you at the start right in cover. That's a common thing to do in game design. Okay, so let's tag this one. Okay, that goes back there, so I think...
Oh no. The watcher saw
Oh no.
me.
Okay, so that I did wrong. I waited too long. Okay.
I need to move slowly and quietly so I can sneak past them.
Okay, but the save points are also really nice here. Because basically they...
Oh no. The watcher saw me.
Oh crap, I did it wrong again. Okay. See, even the tutorial is not trivial, you know. They really want you to get the stealth bits right, and if you don't get past the tutorial,
Slowly and quietly.
that's of course the goal of a tutorial. Or maybe it was... You know, it's the goal of a tutorial is that it teaches you stuff and it makes you aware when you haven't learned it. You know, there's no use in letting you eke through a tutorial.
Almost there.
Made it. Okay, yeah, but so they're good with the save points here. You know, because, you know, in another game they would let you do this whole thing over and over again, and here if you get from one point to the next, they kind of assume that's good enough, but they have enough tests for you that it makes sense. Okay, so let's see where this one walks. I mean, this is also something that kind of makes the game a little easier. Of course, is that you can mark the tracks. Like in other stealth games, what they would do is they would often like just have you, you know, teach you to watch an enemy. I think it's behind that bush, the watcher.
There he is. Can't let them see me.
Okay, I'm hidden. It's always like, since these forms don't show whether they're in front of or behind something, but rather rendered on top of everything, it's kind of hard to tell whether, you know, the watcher at that distance was walking in front of or behind the bush. So that was a tiny bit risky. It's a bit like something that, you know, you could optimize. But I like that, you know, like it's a good way to teach, you know, someone the basics of a stealth game, and then you can go to a stealth game that doesn't have highlighting the tracks. Or in some games they make highlighting the tracks a higher level skill, where you have to unlock. Ooh. What I like is, you know, I take this entire tree branch out here and nobody notices because I am in cover.
Got to be careful.
And anyway, it's that's also like a common game mechanic thing, that in the beginning, you know, you make stuff harder, so to say, like stealth detection. Like maybe in a tutorial you show, okay, this is the track it walks along, which this game doesn't do, by the way, in this instance. Like you can always highlight the tracks. I think I'm supposed to just walk around and oh yeah, I am. Okay, never mind, he's already here. Anyway, but what happens a lot in games is that they give you like these tracks and then have you, you know, like walk from but only in the tutorial, and then at the beginning of the game they make you do very simple basic stealth missions, but without the tracks. So you have to learn to analyze how enemies move and things like that, and react to that. And then later on, when the stealth missions get more complicated, they actually make them a little easier again by giving you the skill to see tracks. Here it's sort of like that, but rather it's sort of the other way around actually in this game, where they give you the ability to see tracks on some enemies, and later you get more difficult enemies that, you know, because they're more clever, will not show you predefined patrol paths. Like, these are fairly primitive machines. Well, let's see where we are and what we've seen so far. Okay, so I guess this is where we started. Interesting, and now we fell down, and now we've walked over here through the valley. Okay, let's talk to Teb.
Hey!
What? How is this?
Shh! Follow me.
How do you know to avoid them?
Okay, I have to get up there. Is that over there? Oh, and that's where Rost is. It's just a little weird, because we came from the other side of the river, I think. Why is Ross suddenly there? Okay, well, never mind. Okay, it walks around the back of the...
How are you doing this?
Okay. That was dumb. Okay, so what I did was I thought I'll run for a few steps and then get in cover again, and now everyone is like, I heard something. They made actual chicken videos for these, like to give them the idea how these watchers would walk. I guess it has calmed down again.
How is this possible?
Well, if you weren't so loud, it wouldn't find us. Okay, head over there.
So, it is no plaything.
Wait. Oh, Mother, bless that girl. Bless you both.
Boy!
She saved me. I just wanted...
Boy! Seal your lips! They are outcasts, both. And she is motherless. Come now! Back to Mother's heart. And you...
That boy should not have spoken to us. It's against tribal law. We'll go home now. Follow.
I know the way. Seal your lips. Seal your lips. Seal your lips, boy. Seal your lips.
Stay away, no mother! Ooh!
Flashpoints offer moments of emotional choice. How Aloy expresses her personality is up to you. Choose and Aloy will confront the challenge directly. Choose brain and Aloy will use her insight to find a clever, less obvious approach. Or choose heart to drop your rock. Okay, knock the rock from his hands. Yeah, don't aim for his head, that would be mean.
Oh! Hey!
Children, away from there! Back to picking berries!
You're bleeding. Let me have a look. Here, hold still. I'll get it.
Why? Why am I an outcast?
Aloy, this is not the time.
Who was my mother?
Aloy, I've told you before, that's not for us to know. You were just a newborn when the matriarchs brought you to me.
So the matriarchs, they know?
It's not so simple.
But they know.
Aloy, we are outcasts.
So how do I make them tell me?
The matriarchs? There is a way, perhaps.
So tell me.
It would be dangerous.
How?
It would take years of training.
I don't care. How do I do it? Tell me.
The proving. The tribe's rite of passage held every year. Those who pass become braves. But to the one who wins, the matriarchs grant a boon.
A boon?
Yes, whatever the winner wants.
Then I'll do it. Whatever it takes. I'll win the proving.
I see. We'd best get started then. Your training will be hard. And it'll take years.
Start training? Yes. Follow.
Rost? Rost? Rost?
Where is he? 2 days before the proving and he goes off without me? He wouldn't do that.
Alright. This is probably a good point to stop at and continue on the next stream. I love this training montage. You know, like, for one thing, it's, you know, like a romantic storytelling thing. Of course, you know, it's a cliche as well. You know, how, you know, like, a training montage itself. Like, it's, every sports movie, you know, has that. But it's really well done, and you know, the quiet little, or the little moments they have in there, you know, like how they show her development from, like, at the start where she's a little kid and he has to, like, save her from the Watcher, to, like, the almost end where you know, she takes the last Watcher at the last second, and you see him, like, just putting down his bow and going, like, okay, I didn't need to this time. And And he waited, you know, like until the last moment to give her the chance to prove that she could do it. So that's really well done. How they did this training montage, and also like the things where like she doesn't take his hand, she climbs up and by herself, you know, like all these little improvements, and how he tries to save her and she goes like, no, I'm doing this, I can do this, like showing how convinced and how you know, how she's willing to really go through with this, and how she's invested in this training and going to the proving. And of course it also shows you like why you as a player can do these things. You know, they just tell you, yeah, Aloy has had training, you know, that's why she can do these cool things. Someone, you know, like normal people probably can't do that, and you know, then she also has the focus. So it's a good combination, a good way of you know, proving you know, of showing you what the things are that Aloy can do, and giving you a rationale.
These will keep.
For her ability to do this. Or your ability to do this, so to say.
Ready or not.
Let's try it on the training dummies, right? So we're gonna do that. Okay. What's this? It's like a punching bag. Or a sword training thing, something. Okay, anyway, thank you for watching, and it's cool to have I've had the opportunity to see this again. And I think I'll continue until I've caught up with what I have played on stream, which means I'll soon I'll have to go back today and just have a peek at when the stream recordings actually start. But so we have a full game. So if you're just new to Horizon Zero Dawn and want to know how it starts and whether you should play it, you can come back and watch more of this stream, and that way learn to you know, learn it, and then later you can, if you decide that it's not your kind of game but you're still interested in the story, you can watch the rest of my stream. Or if you've played the game and then afterwards want to return, then you can watch the VODs that already exist, and by that time and otherwise you can at least get the start and then say, hey, this game is so amazing, I'm looking forward to playing it, and you can play it. I can only recommend this game. Like, it's my favorite game this year at the least. Probably even like last 3 years or something. It's a good one. Like, of the ones I've played, I have to admit, like, there's a bunch of older games I've been playing as well, which are really good as well, but I think this is the best because it's kind of, some of the other games are kind of dark, and this one has elements of darkness. It's a, you know, like a story, a mature story, not in the hee dangly bits sense, but more in the, you know, like, they address topics and war and, you know, end of the world and life and, you know, coming of age and all that stuff. but like they address topics in an adult manner, in a grown-up manner. Is probably a better term. And it's a deep and layered story, and that's really works for me. And the gameplay is interesting because I'm a sucker for stealth. Like if it can't be a 100%, you know, just explore and solve a few puzzles game, then stealth is probably the next thing I like. In stealth, you know, most stealth games, you know, have combat and force you to do combat occasionally, but you know, it's a good compromise between, you know, what I like and what I can deal with for a while. So thank you, and wait, no, wrong button. So this stream is ending. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and now I'll do a quick thing and find someone to raid, because I think there might be a very special stream on today. We shall see. Actually, but Lady Kadashing is streaming today, so that sounds like someone we can, whose streams we can watch. So let's go and raid her. She's playing Star Wars: The Old Republic right now. Which is a fun BioWare game, so they have also a lot of story. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this stream. See you over there.